Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Krieger with Mayor Ronnie Harris of Gretna, and we're here to cover the Krewe of Alla, a great parade on the West Bank.
Sure is, Bob. The sirens are heralding in 1993, the Krewe of Alla. Cloudy skies are greeting us, but we'll have over 124 marching units to be welcoming in this Mardi Gras season on the West Bank.
Yeah, and those cloudy skies actually making it cool out here and comfortable for the public who's lining the streets here on Terry Parkway.
That's right. We'd like to welcome you here on Cox Cable for the Krewe of Alla.
Krewe of Alla is not only the oldest parade in Jefferson Parish, certainly the oldest on the West Bank, but would you believe the third oldest in all of New Orleans Mardi Gras? That's an amazing figure.
It certainly is. It's very proud that it's here on the West Bank as well. The West Bank crowds enjoy Mardi Gras just like anyone else, and you've got the best seat here in your living room for the Krewe of Alla on Cox Cable.
So sit back and enjoy the Krewe of Alla.
Okay, good, guys.
It worked?
It worked.
Can you see?
Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, we're out.
Okay, and here we are on the front of the parade, just beginning to move along Terry Parkway here. It's been a long route getting here so far, right, Ronnie?
It's taken a little while for Alla to wind its way through Berman Highway and Carol Sue and the streets of Terrytown. But as you can see, the lead units are starting to prime the crowd.
These are all your radio stations. Getting a little radio promo there. Included in here are the Metroscan traffic people. Q93.
Light 105 is there in your your picture.
There's WGNO Sports, Channel 26. And there's Light 105 again. Managed to get back in the picture.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, the radio stations, of course, the media as a whole has promoted Mardi Gras in New Orleans quite well, in fact. A lot of people are coming in out of town. The West Bank hotels are full. I've been contacting people in Gretna, and they're telling me their Mardi Gras sales are up.
It's always great to know that you can have such a good time and have it contribute to the economy at the same time.
That's right. I'd like to be the cup manufacturer. B97 ready to...
B97 throwing those cups away.
Loading up, I guess is the word. Q93, the voice of the Saints. The Krewe of Alla, as we may have mentioned a little earlier, was formed in 1932. It's the oldest parade carnival organization on the West Bank and in Jefferson Parish. And in 61 years, they've had over 10 river parades, 55 street parades, and only World War II, and the one thing that Mardi Gras is worried about most, rain, has canceled some of their parades over the years.
Matter of fact, rain caused this parade to be the only one ever to march on St. Patrick's Day.
That was probably one of the strangest parades that ever hit Terrytown or anywhere, as everybody expects leprechauns and they see Mardi Gras captains.
And of course, this is a major Mardi Gras parade, folks. Mr. Mardi Gras himself, Blaine Kern, is the captain of this parade. We'll be seeing him sooner or later. There's the mixed 95.7 FM truck.
And you can tell the reviewing stand on Terry Parkway and Stump Boulevard is nearing the end of the parade route, and that's why sometimes you see a lot of waves being thrown, because they've finished throwing whatever they had.
They've thrown it all out elsewhere, huh? And the Shriners unit.
What would a parade be without the Shriners? You know, a lot of people take a look at the Shriners and they know them for the motorcycle participation in the parades, but the rest of the year they do some great things. They raise money for children's hospitals and special burn units.
Yes. Huge hospital, certainly out in the west in San Francisco, and one closer than that, I believe, now in Houston.
The Jerusalem Temple Roadrunner Unit, the Honda Corps, the Motorcycle Escort, are all different aspects of the Shriners. And the Motorcycle Escort, which you're watching now, is under the direction of Mr. Whitey Hinyub.
They do have a lot of units. They have a lot of fun. They're perfectly in the spirit of Mardi Gras. They, as you mentioned, get a lot of serious things done during the year, but they certainly have a good time. And you're right, there would be no Mardi Gras parade without Jerusalem Temple units.
You can hear the Mardi Gras music in the background. This is the first weekend, I guess you could say, of full-blown Mardi Gras activity. The crowd is getting into it. As you can see,
Yes.
they've been to a few parades before because of those.
They got the long beads, right? if you got the long beads,
Proof positive is that
you
you're
were up
guilty of
close.
you're guilty of observing a parade at its finest hour. It's getting those coveted long beads. The Jefferson Parish officials, as you see in the middle of your screen, they do a lot of behind-the-scene workings of the, I guess you could say, crowd control, security, telecommunications.
Indeed. Mr. Lloyd Otan, who was down there just a moment ago in the tuxedo, we'll be seeing him throughout the day. He's helping to control this parade as it moves through. And JP Telecommunications people, as you mentioned earlier, those including Roger Morales and Dangerous Dan Dotry, as they call him.
Oh, what a name.
He's done a wonderful job down here. I was speaking with him earlier in the day, and he told me he's been through everything with those telecommunications units, through helping presidents through here with the Secret Service, but nothing as much fun as a Mardi Gras parade.
Well, every parade is slightly different. They have their normal routes, and they expect everything to go as expected when a parade is formed and planned. But the one thing they're always ready for is the unexpected. The Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office is out in force. You can see the security present. And it looks like everybody's enjoying themselves, getting ready
indeed.
for the Krewe of Alla.
It's like every other parade. No parade in the history of the city has ever run well, but they're all run great.
That is true.
And people do have a good time here. I mean, where else in America but right here? Might hear our master of ceremonies, Mr. George Sanchez, up there at the public address mic.
Assisting him is Mr. Hank Burchak, who's the president of the Tarrytown Civic Organization. And they're very proud of the parades going through Tarrytown and ensuring that everyone has a good time. And they were mentioning about the Farad Grotto Bug Patrol.
Yes.
Under the direction of Mr. Rick Parr, the president. This group participates in parades in order to sponsor dentistry for the handicapped and cerebral palsy.
And you were mentioning earlier, for those who might not be familiar with the Krewe of Alla, the name is not so Middle Eastern as it sounds, right, Ronnie?
It's about as local can be, Bob.
It goes for Algiers, Louisiana.
Yeah, well, we thought we'd fake out Saddam. I think one of the most unusual groups coming up is the double-decker boat. Excuse me,
Well,
bus.
it's big enough to be a boat.
The Irish-Italian Parade. Well, it's called cross-marketing, Bob.
Right. These are the people who work post-Mardi Gras mostly.
In just a few weeks, the Irishmen and Italians will be out in force.
Yes, that's
with what else but another parade.
That's after Lent begins, right?
That's true. What you see in your picture is the first elected official from Tarrytown. Mr. Sal Alberto was elected constable, and he's in his trademark 1941 Plymouth.
Boy, it really hurts when you remember when that car was new, Ronnie, and I do.
Well, Sal told me he bought it new just about 2 years ago. No.
It's a great-looking car. He keeps it in great shape, too.
Well, talking about great shape, Sal's arm is always great because he always takes bunches and throws the beads. Got to resort to the stuffed animals too.
He's got people helping, jumping in and out of the car.
His whole family usually rides, and a Tarrytown fixture, Constable Sal Alberto, with his badge on the doors. One another.
You all got into this foolishness together,
yeah,
huh?
That's right. Assessor Tom Arnold.
Boy, he's...
Behind him is Dennis Grunmeyer, the constable for the New Orleans Second City Court. And behind him, in that Mustang, is Representative Steve Windhorse. His district comprises of most of Tarrytown. Here's Dennis Grunmeyer.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of sore arms tomorrow here. You don't figure they worked out any before this, huh?
No, they pretty much, they're always ready, I guess you could say. I think that's a requirement of elected officials, is to ride in parades as well, or commentate in one.
Right. Dig them out.
Steve Windhorse, state representative of District 95, the son of the former state senator Fritz Windhorse. Long time, I would say, fixture
Yes.
of Baton Rouge politics. Fritz Windhorse did a lot for the West Bank while he was there, and he's going to continue with his son Steve.
I've known Fritz for a long time. When he was a freshman in the legislature, I was covering up there.
So he was the one always ducking your phone calls.
Yeah, really hurts to know that he's got a son old enough to be a state representative.
Happy Mardi Gras. What's Mardi Gras without kids? And of course the parents begging to get the beads for the kids, but I don't know if it's going to the kids.
Boy, throw me something, mister. Well, not those long beads don't go to the kids, right? Uh-oh, here they come. Yes, sir, this is the Bug Patrol.
That's the Bug Patrol. I know it's going to take a very short period of time before someone tells me which group is which, so I can get it straight. Sometimes these scripts are a little bit out of kilter
order
with
yes.
the actual parade. But the Bug Patrol, I think their main job is to make noise and have fun in Mardi Gras parades.
Well, just for the record, someone counted all this up and decided that they would throw more than 150,000 doubloons and more than 300,000 cups along this parade route.
And who says Mardi Gras is not good for the economy?
Right. Also, for the first time this year, for the first time in any year, collector cards. 10,000 collector cards.
That has become an instant hit.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very unusual unit. This is the Jerusalem Temple Oriental Band from New Orleans, Louisiana.
An Oriental band under the direction of a man named Joe Latino.
I'm wondering how many different tunes they can play.
And if any of them are really Oriental. We'll have to ask Harry Lee. Huh?
But they know how to have a good time. That's the important thing.
Well, there's a guy who looks sort of like Buddha. And there's Mr. Otan trying to hurry the parade along. Good crowd out today, and despite the gray skies, actually there's not really a hint of rain. It's just nice and cool. It's a wonderful day for a parade.
The wind is not blowing too hard, and that's what also makes it comfortable. Because if that wind would pick up, I think you'll see a few more people shivering, because really you don't have that many jackets out here, just shirt sleeve weather.
We have some police officers handing out beads that they've caught, and
the City of Gretna Mounted Posse.
oh, these are your guys. Huh?
That's right, under the command of Robert Crowell.
Have you ridden with them, Ronnie?
No, I sure haven't. They are a sharp-looking outfit. The Gretna Mounted Posse has been around for quite a number of years, under the direction of Mr. Nick Benenati.
Well, that's a good-looking group. Those saddles.
I tell you what, they're very proud. They enjoy these parades, and it's a great showpiece.
You don't have to send a posse out after anybody ever, do you?
Tulane did, but not Gretna. But the green and gold with the white trim is kind of like, I guess you could say, long-time Gretna colors.
And looks like we have another posse coming up following your own. These would be, if the parade is indeed in the order we expect it to be, these would be the St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Posse.
We have Mr. Mix coming down the road, just to add a little bit to the Mardi Gras spirit.
Little
and
music, right?
The sounds of Mardi Gras. This is the DJ representative in Mardi Gras, I guess you could say.
And you talk about a boombox. Sound by Mr. Mix.
Well, he's not carrying it on his shoulder.
Well, that'll rattle a few windows going through the neighborhood. Oh, there's a guy making a report to his dad. No, I haven't caught anything yet, Dad. This would apparently be the St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Posse.
From St. Rose, Louisiana, under the command of Ken Potter. Little prancing horse back there, yes.
All decked out in blue. And a salute. To the appreciation of the crowd.
Well, Bob, one of the nice things about watching the parade in the reviewing stand area, as you will see as the parade passes, is that all the bands will show their stuff for the review crowd in the stands. And
yeah, and of course there are several awards to be made to various band units given their sizes. They were studied earlier as they passed General de Gaulle, and I believe the awards will be made here.
Right.
I
saw Hank having a number of trophies back there. I was just hoping that he had the right names on it.
This must be the Plaquemine Parish Sheriff's Posse, commanded by Greg Hiwalos.
Did a good job. If you noticed, I purposely passed on that one.
And if that's not right, Mr. Hiwalos, Ronnie taught me how to pronounce it.
Let me say that there is a missing rider with Plaquemines today, and his name is Mr. John Stone. And the reason is that he's joined us in the review stand because his daughter is the Maharani.
Oh, okay.
Miss Stephanie Marie Stone. So it's a proud papa in the stands, and unfortunately he had to give up riding in one of the parades for Plaquemine.
And for those of you, of course, not familiar with Allah, the Maharani is the queen. We have a Maharaja and a Maharani, not a king and a queen in this one, right?
That's correct. We'll be seeing Mr. Lyle Stockstill ride with Stephanie Marie Stone. Their big day today.
Boy, indeed.
But here's a group that's coming that Terrytown is very proud of, and that is the Terrytown Volunteer Fire Department. They have some restored pumpers.
They have two of them. One from 1927 and one from 1948.
They were both used by the New Orleans Fire Department until purchased by the Terrytown Volunteer Fire Department a number of years ago, and they are meticulously restored. And every year they look better and better because I see them in every parade.
Yes.
They really show off, and it's a great, I guess, a sales tool to get people to volunteer for the fire companies and to help protect life and property here in the Terrytown community.
Interestingly enough, we're told that not only have these antique fire engines won awards at antique auto shows, they are still in service as spare pumpers and spare units when necessary.
Now, I didn't know that. I thought they were just strictly decorative, but that's exactly what they have here. That's the first time I've learned that.
Hey, stick with me, Ronnie. We're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's a great-looking old fire engine, isn't it?
Followed by a more modern-day pumper.
Yes.
Costing really hundreds of thousands of dollars. These pumpers are costly, yet manned by volunteers. And they have an excellent fire rating here in Terrytown, which means lower insurance rates for homeowners.
This is engine 13, I believe. That's the old one from 1927.
Well, I know this one's different because it's painted yellow.
Yes.
And it's just normally known as the old yellow fire engine.
Well, of course. Who could think of a better name than that?
And now that is used. Mr. Kenny Smith and Mr. Leonard Checksnyder restored that particular fire engine. That does not fight fires any longer, but it does ride in many, many West Bank parades. And approaching is a standard bearer for Mardi Gras parades is the Budweiser Clydesdales.
Yeah, that's a great group of horses, a team of 8 weighing 1 ton each. Boy, that's a big horse. You wouldn't want to bet on those at the fairgrounds. These world-famous Clydesdale travel over 40,000 miles each year. Can be viewed in parades and festivals throughout the United States. They're under the leadership of Mr. Glenn Etzikoff, celebrating their 29th anniversary and participating in Mardi Gras. It's hard to believe.
Well, the one thing that I learned there is that they go somewhere else other than Mardi Gras, because I've seen them so many times.
And the old fire dog up top, huh?
Yeah, the Dalmatian.
Well, I almost thought he was one of Blaine Kern's things until he moved there.
It's a well-trained dog, beautiful dog.
Indeed, to go through these crowds. That unit has really become famous in New Orleans, and you're absolutely right. They seem to be in almost every parade, and apparently do a lot of other traveling across the country.
Well, the
Can't
horses.
be a bad job, huh?
No, I imagine that they have a good time doing what they're doing. I wonder if that dog is saying, "Boy, I've trained these humans well. Look at them sit so patiently."
That's a beautiful, beautiful wagon. No, it really is. And those Clydesdales are great horses.
Bob, we have over 124 units in this parade, including 25 floats, 21 marching bands. We have some bands and trucks, some military drill teams, and color guards. So when you see this parade get kind of stretched out, you can imagine why.
That's right, and those bands, as a matter of fact, represent some 4 states, not only our own, but they include Mississippi, Tennessee, and Texas, and the District of Columbia as well. Also some nice trips for some high school kids, bands to come to New Orleans.
I do know that the military is a great participant in the Mardi Gras parades. The 4th Marine Aircraft Wing Band out of New Orleans, Louisiana is approaching on your screen. Leading Alla for 1993 is the Aircraft Wing Band to honor America's servicemen and women. It's been formed in 1978, and it's been the traditional lead band of Alla. Major Dwayne DeVoe leads it. The musicians are stationed here in New Orleans, and it performs annually for well over 3 million people and have participated in some of America's premier events, including the Tournament of Roses in Pasadena and Martin Luther King Parade in Atlanta, Georgia, and right here on the West Bank.
They tour the country with the Clydesdales, right?
Let's see if we can hear them.
Yeah. Right after them, St. Augustine.
Oh, that drum major is just incredible, isn't he? I mean, these guys are so precision.
They're a pleasure to watch and hear.
I used to march like that at Jesuits.
The United States Marine Corps.
And more than just a few good men. You know, one of the interesting things about Mardi Gras parades is that for all the hilarity and fun there is, this kind of pomp and circumstance also grabs the crowd.
It sure does. So does the showmanship.
Yes. And the Marine hymn. United States Marines. Yes, indeed.
Now you know it's a Mardi Gras parade because who else would be dressed in gold but the parade marshal, the vice president and assistant captain of the Golden Griffon Society, Allah. The parade marshal is the only member of the crew whose costume has the original crest of the crew prior to the 1978 reorganization.
How about that? He's also riding with the parade marshal, who's dressed in green. He's the assistant parade marshal and secretary of Allah. On his cape, the crest of the Golden Griffon Society, Allah. That's the new one, right? The old and the new ride together.
The old and new ride together.
Okay.
Again, dating back to 1932. It's got a long history. And when they reorganized in 78, it's for a reason. To be bigger and better. Now, Bob, you had mentioned a little earlier about the band contest, and I was just handed the Alla Jam contest winners for 1993.
Our first one's coming up in the Maharajas division. Guess who?
The Marching 100 from St. Augustine High School.
Well, the St. Aug guys are just terrific, and they have quite a history. The Marching 100 Purple Knights have become the most written about high school band in the United States of America.
Wow.
Articles and/or pictures in national publications such as Sports Illustrated, Time Magazine, The New Yorker, many others.
The Purple Knights have performed for 5 United States presidents and also Pope John Paul II. Additionally, they have appeared in 2 movies and several television commercials.
And they're marching off now with trophy in hand.
Oh, there they go.
As the winner of the Maharaja division.
I'll tell you what, I don't think the crowd is too surprised from that award.
No, you couldn't have won much money betting on them. I mean, they had to be the heavy favorite. St. Aug, Marching 100, Purple Knights.
Those drums can kind of drown you out toward the end, I'll tell you.
Yes, indeed. They get the crowd going, though, man. They really do. Following, marching not quite to the step of the St. Aug Marching 100.
The United States Air Force Honor Guard out of Washington, D.C.
They're under the command of Captain Greg Kliponis. And then once again, all the way from the District of Columbia.
Many of these honor guards and bands of the military really are a great public relations tool that the military organizations use to let people know that, number one, they're around, number two, that they offer a lot to the community as a whole.
I tell you what, they are precision, but it's got to be difficult to march to your own step when you got St. Aug in front of you.
Total concentration, I think they call that.
Yeah, these guys, of course, didn't just get out here for this parade. They do this an awful lot.
Yeah, they sure do.
And their own salute.
Actually, the crowd quiets down just as a show of respect because they're waiting for them to show their stuff because of the precision that they have.
It's a strangely slow precision drill, but kind of makes you want to watch and see what's going to happen.
Maybe they have a flyover too, right?
Boy, I'm telling you.
This is where they like their commander or not.
Yes. Guy on
think I
either
know what's
side
going
with
to
a
happen.
bayonet and a rifle. Ooh, oh.
Well,
Boy, you gotta hope they know what they're doing.
well, we were talking about total concentration.
Yeah. The guy in the middle hopes the other two have it, right? He made it. Oh.
They going to start throwing the rifles, or?
Well, with those bayonets on the front, I'm just not sure. Oh, yes, they are. Oh, and this guy's got to feel like one of those knife-throwing things at the circus, huh?
Really? Except they're going on all sides of them rather than just on the side.
Figure you won all those medals for standing there and taking this. Now the crowd's enjoying it. Beginning to understand.
Here's a shot of the review stand. It's made up of friends and family of members in the crew.
And a good crowd on the reviewing stand today, by the way. Full up.
These reviewing stands, erected by Jefferson Parish, have been paid for by the Mardi Gras crews themselves, where they have pooled their funds, and so this is where the Mardi Gras crews actually come together in a joint fashion and build these stands for the enjoyment of their crowd. So,
Come politicians always know where the money came from, huh?
well, it's only because you guys always ask. I had the members of the press call me the other day, found out I was going on a trip. I hadn't even purchased the tickets yet, but they knew I was going.
Can we talk about that?
Not on camera.
Actually, that may have come off sounding worse than it was. You're going on a legitimate trip, and I know about it. It's not a problem. Actually, the action's sort of slowed down a little bit with this Air Force group.
Different groups have different tempos,
Right.
and the crowd kind of appreciates the difference.
And they do applaud them as they leave. They are precision.
We were mentioning about the contest winners for the Alla Jam, and just to let everyone know that the military bands, they're not eligible. They don't compete.
Okay. But out-of-town high school bands are, right? I mean,
very
anyone
much
can
so.
win, right? Wow, look at that guy.
And we're seeing one of the first of over 25 floats built by Blaine Kern Artists Incorporated.
Yeah, which is interesting because guess who's on it?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have even imagined. What a lead-in. I even lost my place in the script. I didn't know that was going to happen.
Oh, look at this on skates. Roller skating.
I remember the roller skates and tri-drive on the West Bank, but they weren't dressed
Hooters.
like that.
Yes, the aptly named Hooters girls.
Getting to be another one of those trademarks. Well, we have big floats, little floats, and we have a lot of things on wheels.
Girls on roller skates. Yes.
Hooters. I don't know what you can say about them, Bob, if we're groping for words here.
I guess we can say Hooters. Later on, we're going to say Kunas anyway, right?
Well, I never knew Terry Parkway would be a nice skating rink as well.
Who knows what Mardi Gras can bring, right?
Well, we're going to get back to the matters at hand, dealing with Mardi Gras. And with every Mardi Gras parade, there is a captain. And the captain calls the shots.
And this one certainly calls the shots as strongly as any captain ever has,
Oh, I
right?
guarantee you. Mr. Mardi Gras himself, Mr. Blaine Kern. Actually, you know, we let out a very important secret because the captain's masked, and no
Right.
one is supposed to
No
know
one's
who he
supposed
is.
to ever know who the captain is, except, I guess, when he's Mr. Mardi Gras.
Probably one of the most poorly kept secrets.
Interestingly enough, Blaine's association with this organization goes all the way back to its organization in the beginning. His father, Roy Kern, was one of the founding members of Allah back in 1932.
And in 1947, Alla needed a new float designer, and Roy Kern helped convince the membership that he should give his son Blaine a chance to show his talents.
And that's where Blaine Kern began. Boy,
What is your name, sir?
how many floats has he done
Amelia,
since
sir. I think that's Ed Munez, the man who raised me from a little boy that I've respected all my life. Mr. Munez. And boy, we can still call you boy. Put your hands up.
The traditional champagne toast.
Testing 1, 2.
Look, hey, what?
Oh, we have to get another mic here. Build him one,
I think
Blaine.
they're sharing mics, and I think that's one of the problems.
Now, a few other things too, which we won't get into right now. But let me officially welcome you on behalf of the elected officials in Jefferson Parish and Jefferson Parish viewing fans. We have here today, besides our wonderful Sheriff Harry Lee, we have Clerk of Court John Guggenheimer. We have the Speaker of the House of Representatives, John Alario. And of course we have from the city of New Orleans, who had the honor of riding in your parade, Jackie Clarkson. We'd like to welcome you to our reviewing stand on a day which has officially been declared the Krewe of Alla Day in Jefferson Parish. We'd also in Orleans Parish. So, 2 for 1. We also have here to welcome you and your guest, G.W. Bailey. G.W., we have Rhonda from Moscow. Rhonda, who's the founder and director of the Sunshine Kids. And we have a lot of members
Ed Munez
of
was
the
never at a
Parish
loss for
Sheriff's
words.
Office who brought the Sunshine Kids to
He's got his
Jefferson
own script as well. I couldn't
We'd like
remember
to
that many
welcome you in
names.
your beautiful parade down the streets. We'd like to salute the Sunshine Children, and here to do so is a young man from San Antonio by the name of Mark Perillo, who's also one of the Sunshine Kids. Mark? What? Welcome to the Jefferson Parish.
Welcome to Jefferson Parish.
Mark came all the way, he's one of the Sunshine Kids who came all the way from San Antonio.
Wow.
So again, we welcome you, we thank you for the parade, and have a happy Mardi Gras.
Well, we salute Blaine Kern as the captain of Allah and the man who built his first float for Allah in 1947. And if captains are supposed to be anonymous, that mast was not built for anonymity.
Sherry, oh, for look at me, Sherry. Sherry, where are you, darling? Oh, for Christ's sake.
Oh,
I've
Blaine.
been looking for you, my darling. My beautiful lady, Sherry. Where's my queen at? Is she here? Where's our queen? And Miss Peggy. And that girl with the beautiful nose. I don't know her name. Where's my queen of Allah? Where's the queen? For Christ's sake, don't get my passport.
Blaine.
Happy Mardi Gras to all you folks. Here you
Have
are.
another drink, Blaine.
I just decided to let the listening audience
Yeah.
hear the captain
Yeah.
in his exuberance. Let's go. That's it. Well,
Happy Mardi Gras, pal.
What's the usual thing we're not responsible for?
Let's hope we have good weather next weekend, Eddie. Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if that's I think that is his microphone.
Yeah.
I think he's got his own speaker system there.
Which somebody ought to take away from him. Blaine Kern, the captain of Allah.
We're going to wave to Blaine.
Yeah.
Now, Bob, as we get closer and closer to this Mardi Gras spirit, I've got to get involved with this parade as well.
I understand.
So we're going to be catching stuff.
Okay.
Now, this is going to be a trick because everybody thinks we're looking at the monitor.
That's right.
But actually, I've decided we're going to say hello to our captain.
Oh, Blaine.
Oh, Blaine. No, that's only when they ride on St. Patrick's Day. He's having a great time.
Boy, he sure is. That's, of course, the Golden Griffin behind him, huh?
That headpiece, he probably took that off on Berman Highway. And there goes Captain Blaine Kern. Captain of Mardi Gras.
Mr. Mardi Gras
Okay,
himself.
now we're back to the band contest. Don't know if we have a winner here, but we do have O. Perry Walker High School right here in, well, if you're from out of town, it's called New Orleans, but I know better because it's in Algiers.
This band operates under the direction of Mr. Augustus Walker Jr., drum majors Damon Richard and Torrey James. Maybe Damon Richard, huh?
The Gold Division runner-up. Award winner is O. Perry Walker.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Walker himself is a very, very honored person in his own right. The 1987 Orleans Public School System's Instrumental Music Teacher of the Year.
4 of these kids, by the way, have been members of the McDonald's All-American Band in 86, 87, and 89, respectively. 6 students toured Europe with the United States Collegiate Wind Band in 86, 87, and 88. Band's a consistent winner, and again this year, huh?
Very much
A runner-up.
so. Runner-up in the Gold Division. The various divisions, I believe, are the size of the schools, and once
Yes.
I find out the guidelines, I'll tell you about it. There's a Maharaja division, a Gold division, a Purple division, Green division, junior high, middle schools, and marching groups.
Okay, and it has to do with the size, actually. The Gold Division is up between 60 and 80 members. The Maharaja is 80 and above, and on down the line.
Okay,
smaller, they get smaller as they go down the line.
So the Green division of 1 to 40 members is the smallest band group, but at least they get a chance to win in their own right,
Right.
as opposed to some of these larger bands.
And then, of course, there will be the best junior high band, the best middle school band, the best marching group, and the best military group,
Although we said
they
earlier.
are not, well, it says there that they are not included in the contest,
There
so
we
I'm
go.
not sure why you
Well,
judge
I'm just
them.
glad we're not judging.
Oh, I would have difficulty judging them.
The Flag Corps of O. Perry Walker. Pep Squad.
The Alla Jam, this is called, band contest, huh?
Alla Jam. Preceding the parade, which everyone looks forward to, is the when they have what they call their coronation, is the Alla Gala, and then their ball is the Alla Bash.
Oh, and you love this, the Jefferson Indians from Marrero.
Mr. Shelton Adams has been riding in parades since 1958. Mr. Adams is the chief and president, and is the only original member who still rides in the parades. That's why he gets to wear the big headdress.
I'm not sure if that's an honor or not. Boy,
I'm
that
not
thing
sure.
looks heavy, huh?
Well, I know Mr. Adams is extremely proud of that honor.
Yes, indeed.
He has a great time, great show. Great show.
It's a
Every
beautiful
Mardi Gras
headdress.
season, they've won numerous awards for best horse-mounted groups and best dressed.
No doubt. Look at these
You can see why.
headdresses. Is that gorgeous? Wow. The huge buffalo head on top.
You know, in the national news, you hear the protest about the Atlanta Braves,
Yes.
the Washington Redskins. and the Indians are protesting. I just hope they never protest about Mardi Gras, because it would take too much away from our good times.
I tell you, if anybody is sensitive, they should stay away from Mardi Gras altogether. About anything.
Mardi Gras is a time where people get to release their pin-up energy, have a good time. Sometimes, just act like a fool.
Well,
have fun.
You know, it's a time that other cities don't have. It's a time for people to be themselves for a change. Have fun.
The only closest thing that I've heard of has been the Philadelphia Mummers Parade.
Yes. Right.
However, for those, I have never witnessed it, but for those people who have told me about it, Mummers, they don't hold a candle to Mardi Gras as far as an event. You have to be there to enjoy it. We're glad that you're with us today. Watching the Krewe of Alla from Terry Parkway and Stump Boulevard, and approaching
Maharaja himself.
Mr. Lyle
Stockstill.
Stockstill. I was about to say Stockwell, but
right.
Lyle Stockstill.
And he is the Maharaja for 1993 from his howdah, that's called, atop his royal elephant. He greets his subjects. Behind him, you'll be able to see an animated genie appearing from a cloud of smoke to present Mr. Stockstill, who is the 61st monarch of Allah.
The Maharaja has been a pathfinder in the dangerous and demanding field of underwater pipe installation. Mr. Stockstill is the president and chief operating officer of Torch Incorporated, a company which pioneered hyperbaric welding. Torch Incorporated is an international company and diversified into marine-related construction and manufacturing projects. The reviewing stand is recognizing him right now.
Maharaja, and recognizing the crew's contribution to Jefferson Parish. I also have, well, I put it back in the envelope so don't. I also have a plaque from the parish president and the council that to give to you, thanking you for your beautiful parade. We have other elected officials here, such as the Speaker of the House, John Lario, we have Representative Winhouse, Sheriff Lee's up here, just knocked all the champagne from up here. John Gegenheimer, here's our plaque here, we thank you very much, sir. Hail Allah.
Hello, folks. Hello, folks. It's on? Can I hear it? It's on. I want to say happy Mardi Gras to everyone. I want to thank all the public officials that's here. And most especially, I want to thank the Orleans Parish Police and the Jefferson Parish Police. And my lovely wife, I think she's here somewhere, I don't know. Hello, Lana Jean. And to the parents of Mrs. Stone, they have a lovely daughter, and I've enjoyed it. Thanks, Blaine Kern. Thanks to this lady back there. I see her back there. She did all the outfits, and thanks everybody for the nice time. Thanks for coming out.
Lyle, we also have all the happiness sunshine kids are in the stands. We have Sheriff Howard Lee.
Hello, Bob.
Sheriff Howard Lee is right to my left down there. You can have the sheriff.
Toast for everybody. One will do it.
Yeah,
It'll work.
let's do one of these blanket jobs here. Lyle Stockstill, the Maharaja for 1993. He sounds like he's having a good time.
He sure is. He sure is. He resides in Plaquemines Parish, and he serves on various civic committees in Plaquemines. Not to mention Buras High School football by creating over 24 scholarships for graduates. Mr. Stockstill is indeed a contributor to the community.
Yeah, and when you contribute to kids' scholarships, you've made your real contribution. He's obviously a great businessman. But
in 1993, Maharaja of the Krewe of Allah, Mr. Lyle Stockstill, ladies and gentlemen.
He's riding on an elephant float. You have to look at the bottom of your picture.
There's the genie in the back.
New meaning of republicanism, I guess.
Lloyd Stockstill. And the Golden Griffin is actually behind the genie somewhere, but it's apparently going to be on every float.
There it is.
There he is.
If anyone wanted to know what a Golden Griffin is, that's it.
That's it. By the way, his daughters, LeBrie and Lelyn Stockstill, were riding on that float as well with him as his assistants. Now the Archbishop Shaw Eagle Band.
The winner of the purple division in their Alla Jam band contest.
Oh, okay.
The Eagles from Shaw High School have the Eaglettes.
They're about to accept a huge trophy there.
The cheerleaders, the pep squad, the flag corps are all made up of sister schools in Archbishop Blank High School as well as Immaculata, which is in Marrero. Under the direction of Mr. Neil Knockhand, the drum majors Todd Cranston and Terrence Harris. This band has been rated superior in parades, field show concerts, and sight reading consistently for the past 8 years. And a winner today.
Well, the word is consistency. That's when you know the program's good.
Well, I wanted to say that, but I'm an alma mater. That's my alma mater there.
I was wondering how you knew so much about it.
That's right.
So you're an old Shaw Eagle,
I'm
eh?
a Shaw Eagle. I sit on the development board. The faculty and administration of the school is going full guns on trying to promote the fact that it's a great place of learning on the West Bank.
I was just checking my notes to find out where you got all that information. Now I know.
Actually, it's right here on my cuff.
Well, congratulations on your band.
Thank you. I'm very proud of them.
Of course, the former home of former Saint quarterback,
John Forcade.
Okay.
The runner-up trophy. Thank you.
Told you it was a
Thank
winner.
you. First place. First place.
First place.
First place in the purple division.
Yes. He, Mr. Ortan made a mistake. Said runner-up, right? They are the winners.
Yeah, he was corrected. That's right.
Yes.
Yes, they did win. Someone was eager to correct them, probably a fellow graduate.
I'm glad they corrected him, because if that was the runner-up's trophy, I'd hate to see what they'd have to carry
Really?
as winners, right?
We're located here on Terry Parkway and Stump. The parade disbands at Oakwood Shopping Center, which is just a few blocks further on. So after marching a long march, that little one was still had a lot of pep in her.
Yeah, and actually knows the routine quite well. I mean, she's just not just a mascot. She's right in there with them. Shaw Eaglettes. Sharp group. With trophy in hand, he leads the band.
Strong sounding band.
Fortunately, this is near the end of the parade. He doesn't have to carry their trophy too far while trying to lead the band.
The way that we're situated on the reviewing stand, we're watching the monitor along with you folks at home. And quite frankly, I'm amazed at how large of a group it is. Starting out with the cheerleaders.
Yes. Flag
Pep squad.
Flag corps.
Flag corps, the band.
Now
It's like
we're,
they keep coming on. Here they are.
we're coming up now with the Naval Air Station Memphis Flying Rifles Drill Team of Millington, Tennessee. This is under the command of Kelly Tippett. This unit formed in 1953. It's the oldest drill team in continuous existence in the Navy. Would you believe that? Flying rifles perform a stylized close-order drill with an average bayonet-to-body clearance of 2 to 3 inches. I'm going to try and get closer than those Air Force guys.
Yeah,
earlier,
I was going to compare them, but I wanted to watch them first.
These are all part-time volunteers. I would guess when you're getting that close with bayonets, it'd have to be a volunteer unit, huh?
Yeah, their routine is pretty unusual.
It says here the training of a parade team member takes approximately 9 weeks. I think I'd probably want a little more training than that with that bayonet, wouldn't you?
Now, they're not located directly in front of us, but as we watch them, they kind of fling those rifles to their partners and then twirl them themselves.
And understand that's about a foot-long bayonet on the head of those rifles.
Yeah, whoa. I'm getting out of the way.
This is when it's nice to be up in the stands.
Well, the guy was standing behind the tree was a pretty good idea.
He's from Millington, Tennessee. Once again, the Naval Air Station Memphis Flying Rifles drill team, and now you know why they're called the Flying Rifles.
Naval Air Station Memphis Rifles Flying Drill Team.
They are all members of the aviation arm of the Navy. So I guess they do this on their spare time or just extra.
Yeah, it says part-time volunteers.
Okay, they need to get a wider shot because they're flinging those rifles around and pretty impressive show.
Yes, it is. And as the Flying Rifles fly away.
That's one thing that many people don't, I guess, appreciate or don't understand. The impact of the military in the New Orleans area is very impressive with the number of different installations with the naval support activity, both on the East Bank and West Bank, Alvin Callender Field, in Belchase.
Indeed. Now we have the Maharani.
The Maharani.
That would be the Queen in most other parades.
Miss Stephanie Marie Stone. It's being presented.
That's Councilman Ed Muniz.
Mardi Gras 1993. Also, I'd like to point out your mother and father standing right down from it. I'd like to salute you. And all the people of Jefferson and all these guys, thank you for this wonderful parade and happy Mardi Gras.
Bob, I think the only two people that he has not introduced is us.
To make it out here today, and it was really special for me since friends and family could come from all over. Thank you, and thank you, Mom and Dad and everyone. I had a great time. All hail Allah.
Hail Allah and hail Her Majesty.
Of course, Mom and Dad
Happy
is
Mardi Gras.
Mr. and Mrs. John Stone Jr.
She's an impressive young woman. Junior at St. Mary's Dominican High School, an honor student since her first year.
Into politics, I can see.
Yes, one of your people. What's this?
I'm reading the qualifications here. She has served as freshman delegate, the sophomore representative, and junior vice president to Dominicans Student Council, of course, at St. Mary's Dominican High School.
Interestingly, a state-ranked tennis player since the age of 10. And she's featured on Dominican's tennis team as well as all of her other activities.
Well, she was inducted into the Alpha Data chapter of the Delta Beta Sigma National Sorority, a high school social and service organization. You know, along with her are her princesses, Miss Danielle Hughes, Miss Emily Van Loon, and Miss Kimberly Myers.
Stephanie Marie Stone.
And, yes, she looks like she could be a candidate one day for,
Very attractive candidate.
hopefully not mayor of Gretna, right?
I would have to agree with that. Gorgeous costume.
Yes, it is.
The weather's holding out, thank goodness.
She's a very pretty young lady.
Very much so. Enjoying her reign as Maharani.
In an Alla parade, the Estroma High School Band under the direction of Mr. Dan Spiller.
And the crowd waves.
Miss Stephanie Marie Stone.
The blue doubloons flying from the float.
Assisting is a honor guard from the City of Gretna Police Department. If you're wondering which group this is,
So are we.
because we are as well.
Our notes say it should be the Estroma High School Band. However, there's a better chance it's the West Jefferson Air Force Junior ROTC unit.
Yes, but
But you've never seen the Air Force march quite
No,
like that, right? Neither have I.
compared to the other honor guards that have performed, this one is in a class by itself, as you can see. And just as soon as we find out which group this is, we'll honor them by naming them. The crowd's enjoying it,
crowd
though.
loved it, yes, indeed. That's one precision march you don't do with bayonets, however. I think I heard him say Estroma High School.
Estroma High School. If that's
Yes.
the case,
And that's,
out of
if that's
Baton
the case.
Rouge.
It is out of Baton Rouge and under the direction of Mr. Don Spurrier. And this marks the first appearance of this band in the Alla Parade, which is apparently why we didn't recognize them, right?
I think that sounds as good as any other excuse we may come up with.
Estroma High School, known great many years ago as the high school to which former Heisman Trophy winner Billy Cannon attended.
I saw his trophy in TJ
In
Ribs.
TJ's Ribs, yes. Now the West Jefferson High School
I
Air Force
knew they-
ROTC. You knew it, didn't
Well,
you?
I knew it because they're dressed in blue and the others were dressed in brown. That's it. From Harvey, Louisiana, under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Carol Fortmeyer, in command of Cadet Corps Commander Michelle Gates.
They're a marching group winner.
Well, they're the military unit. Very
Okay.
few words in that thanks, but sometimes it's all you need.
That was the military, thank you. Yeah. Oh, yes. This Air Force ROTC high school, though it is quite militarily serious.
Very much so. Very much so. There was an article in the paper just the other day talking about the contribution of the junior ROTC units around
Yes.
Louisiana. They have a number of ROTC units in various high schools. And I would have to say the teaching of discipline and military tradition and honors is something very well needed
Yes.
in today's school systems.
Among other things, precision drill means teamwork, means working together with others, means discipline, certainly.
You can tell that by the seriousness of the looks on their faces.
And it's not come without some rewards. unit's been consistently designated as an honor meritorious unit for the past 19 years. Not these same ones, but
Yeah, right. You almost caught me there, Bob. The one thing that I may want to add that, of course, the junior ROTC, and I don't know their particular requirements, but in Jefferson Parish school system is a pass-to-play rule, where you have to pass in the classroom as well as participating in extracurricular activities.
I know there are people who disagree with me on this, but I think that's a marvelous idea.
They have, it's very controversial, and the one thing that I have to hand it that you cannot deny, those who are participating are indeed honored.
Yes. Well, now we have our fourth float of the parade, and these are a couple of maids in a row.
In the front is Miss Lene Hingle Stockstill, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Lyle Stockstill, and she is dressed as Juliet from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
That's obviously the Maharaja's daughter.
That is correct.
And in the rear of the float, yet another Stockstill, Miss September Stockstill, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Lyle Stockstill.
But today,
she is depicting Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind.
Oh, Scarlett. The whole family gets in the act here.
Oh,
L.B.
yeah.
Landry, senior high school from New Orleans, or Algiers, as many know it. The winner of the gold division of the Alla Jam contest, band contest, under the direction of Mr. Mike Magruder and drum majors Eric Cryer and Linnell Lipscomb, as well as with Joseph Lozanne.
They have won awards in 1988 as the best comprehensive band in Orleans Parish and the best band at the Jackson State University Homecoming Parade in 1992, just last year. And here they come.
You could say they get around.
They do, and they win things wherever they go.
They sure do. I don't quite know what best comprehensive band is. I guess all phases of marching and playing and.
You're not asking me on the air, are you?
I'm searching. I'm
Okay.
groping, as you can tell.
Well, I have an answer for you. I don't know.
Oh, okay. For better or for worse, I accept it. Smiles are there because of their pride in their group, and also maybe they see the end of the route.
Yes, it's been a long route. But I'll tell you what, all the groups, this one as well, we've seen come through here, look none the worse for wear.
No, they really don't. They look very well rested, I guess you could say, which is pretty good for after this many miles of the route. It's a traditional West Bank route.
Those cool skies must have certainly helped some.
And
there they are, the L.B. Landry High School Band.
The crowd is loving it.
The Majorette Corps. What is this, the gold division, is it?
Yes. L.B. Landry, the winner of the gold division. You can hear why.
Got the crowds boogieing. L.B. Landry High School Band moving through the reviewing area.
There is a lull in the action as the
Yes.
bands are passing. And we have the sound of sirens.
All right, now as we see the end of the flag corps of the L.B. Landry High School marching through. Actually, they all have lots of corps, don't they?
They sure do. I would say they probably fill up half the stadium whenever they have a
Yeah.
football game. They
Yeah.
a very large group. I was
wondering,
commenting a little
who do
earlier
you sell
about Shaw.
tickets to?
Really? I was commenting earlier about Shaw, but this particular group is
It's a big
extremely
group,
large.
yeah.
Yes.
Apparently, when they count numbers of band members, they actually count only band members to determine which category they're in.
For the Alla Jam, that is correct, because there are so many support groups, but it's the sound of the bands that they're looking for. The captain of Choctaw, Mr. Don Zabo and his lovely wife, Donnie. The captain had a great ride yesterday when Choctaw paraded this very same parade route.
And he's back today, huh?
Back today. The one thing about the family of Mardi Gras crews, I guess you could say, is that they stick together and they support one another.
Yes.
The Zabos are leaders in that area of Choctaw.
These are beautiful maids, numbers 3 and 4.
In the front is Miss Jennifer Landry, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Charles E. Roberts, depicting Delilah.
And at the rear is Jody Christine Keller, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. James J. Keller. She represents Queen Isabella.
The Edna Carr Magnet School Band from New Orleans is under the direction of Mr. Guy Wood and drum major Sybil James. Edna Carr, being a slightly smaller school, is the runner-up in the green division. And a trophy will be presented to them as the band major passes.
The Carr Concert Band, the first New Orleans public school band in 21 years to receive a superior rating at the State Music Festival last year.
In recognition of their accomplishments, the band has received over 30 trophies in 3 years and has been recognized by the Mayor of New Orleans, the New Orleans City Council, and the Orleans Parish School Board.
Not to mention the Krewe of Alla. Now, they've added a trophy here.
I always wondered where these trophies go. In the halls of the schools, or
I'm telling you,
the place of honor, wherever they...
if they've garnered 30 in 3 years, they must be searching for room over periods of time. Huh?
I wonder if they planned for that much success.
Edna Carr Magnet School.
To give you an idea how large this parade is that we're at unit number 62 of 124 marching units and bands and floats. We're about halfway. Alla is a huge parade, one of the major ones on the West Bank.
Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, I believe it's been billed as the second largest parade in all of Mardi Gras, which is kind of incredible. That puts it, only behind Endymion and ahead of Bacchus in terms of size?
Size-wise, yeah, I would imagine so.
Mardi Gras Mambo.
Oh, I was wondering. I was about to say, name that tune. And you just read my mind. In 3 notes.
Yeah, that's it. And you will hear that a great deal between now and a week from Tuesday.
Yeah, for those individuals who get tired of that music, it's only heard for about 14 days out of 365.
Yes.
So.
Yes. It is heard it several hundred times a day during the time.
The Cougarettes.
I want to tell you,
Purple
that's
Eagle.
not just marching either. I mean, that's, you know, they're dancing and everything through this circuitous route on the West Bank, and still look hale and healthy.
Well, I'll tell you what, the
Poor
kids...
guy with the drinks.
Really. The kids really do enjoy being proud of marching and having a good time. Getting ready for the big day, Mardi Gras Day, February 23rd, 1993.
The long beads. Yes, the long beads will always gather support of the fans here.
Well, we have another maid float.
Just gorgeous costumes. And in the front, Miss Jeanette Alice Gaudry, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Thomas L. Gaudry, Jr. She represents Madame Butterfly.
In keeping with the theme is Maria Michelle Smith, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Fred Smith, dressed in a costume depicting Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
By the way, I think we've...
Love makes the world go round.
Right, yes, we neglected to mention that. That is the theme of this entire parade.
And of course,
Love makes the world go
there's a
round.
reason for that. Why?
The title float isn't here yet.
Oh, okay. We're waiting for that. Yeah, that's right. That's, you know, started to feel guilty.
Yeah, so did I.
But this is Sunday, February 14th, as a hint.
Right, that should give you some hint at least. But you're right, I thought we had blown it too. I didn't realize that.
The Warren Easton High School Band out of New Orleans is under the direction of Mr. Michael Torregano.
Easton Eagles. Purple and gold.
Say that flute section is strong.
Yes. And as the Eastern Support Group moves through, the Flag Corps now moves through the reviewing area, we will be coming up on yet more maids in a row.
While we have this break, I want to say that the costumers is Miss Erlene Lackinac in charge of the costumes, and Mr. and Mrs. Anthony Colombo is responsible for those beautiful head and collar pieces.
Boy, they have done a wonderful, gorgeous job. The maids on this float in the front, Miss Aline Claire Zerang, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. W.J. Zeke Zerang Jr., dressed in a costume illustrating a Muppets love affair.
And when you said that, I had to kind of take a look. And you see the little Muppets on the collar? In the rear is Miss Angie Kim Knight, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Gary B. Knight, Sr., representing Queen Guinevere.
Just giving you some suggestion about how wide the world of love can be, right?
From Kermit the Frogs to Knights of the Round Table.
Kermit the Camelot, huh?
Who would ever guess that? I mean, you really have to stop and think about it. Good imaginations go into coming up with these themes.
Yes, indeed.
We have another winner coming up in Buras High School, winner of the Green Division.
The Buras Wildcats, under the direction of Mr. Wendell Lewis and drum major Luc Tra. This band's been a consistent winner in the parades of Cleopatra, Allah, and Nefertari.
Of course, it goes without saying, but Buras High is in Buras, Louisiana, Plaquemines Parish.
Buras Wildcats. And there's
Mardi
the trophy, yes. Oh, holding it high.
One of the most proud of the winners, I
Yes,
would say.
indeed. Look, kind of sharing it with the rest of the band, which
Really?
is nice.
Yeah. Nice touch.
That's great. Congratulations to the Buras Wildcats marching band.
The LC Forche Air Force Junior ROTC unit from New Orleans is under the command of Sergeant Edward Fowler.
Forche Tarpons.
Of course, we can never forget our past. And of course, past is the Maharani and Maids of 1992, including her court.
The past Maharani, 1992's Maharani, Elizabeth Anna Ward.
Maid is Miss Nicole Erin Massey.
Also Shannon Fitzgerald Roulette.
Miss Teresa Ann Bender.
Miss Victoria Perino.
Tracy Ann Danos.
Anne Elizabeth Zarang.
Lauren Elizabeth Van Loon.
And Jennifer Marie Melanson. There they are.
Throwing, enjoying their return trip. It's the past 1992.
This is kind of a nice touch to invite the group back from last year to ride.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know if it's other crews have it as quite the same style, whereas they're all in the same float enjoying it, because as you could tell this
Yes.
year, all the maids are under their individual floats.
Right.
But when they come back, they're all together.
That's nice, yes. And dressed in costume that's almost non-costume.
Very elegant. Shows their court. Their ranking in the Mardi Gras society. How's that?
I might say that when they are maids, as we're looking at them this year, they're a lot more sedate than they're having a good time here.
Right. Now they can let their hair hang down and throw, have fun like all the other crew members.
Go ahead, throw at the Muniz.
They're taking their time in throwing so that the review stand folks can pick out their favorite maid, yell, say hello.
Yes, and I believe band up front may have slowed up just a tad, which will keep the maids here for a bit.
Alla, 1993. It's pretty impressive numbers that they have provided with us on the number of doubloons that they're throwing today, along with cups. 80,000 just for the king and queen. And that float alone is throwing 17,500 cups.
The maids are throwing
Yes.
that many, huh? Wow.
There's a couple right there.
As we move up on the Livingston Middle School Band. From New Orleans, under the direction of Mr. Darrell Dickerson.
And it's a winner of the middle school division, is Livingston Middle.
Middle school winners. Livingston Middle School. This is the best band in that group.
Well, Bob, I don't know about you, but I've been waiting for this float that's coming up behind this band.
It is the title float's on its way, folks.
It's on its way, yes.
We'll find out what this parade's all about.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Livingston is really strutting its stuff as the winner of the middle school division. It's a very large band. Large in number, large in sound.
You know,
Large in pride now with that trophy.
quite seriously, without ever seeing the title float, it's been one heck of a parade so far. I mean, it really has.
It shows you the size and magnitude of Alla, and what the captain, Blaine Kern, has done with this parade has made it huge. Good news, there's some sun peeking through the clouds.
Yes.
So possibly that threat of rain that people have been wondering about all afternoon is past us. Long enough for this parade to pass.
At least hold until tonight, yes. Although
yeah, I think the one most listened to and probably the one most feared is the weatherman when it comes to Mardi Gras parades.
Yes. And the one much cursed when he makes the wrong pronouncement, right?
Yeah. Notified of his mistakes, I'm sure.
As the Livingston Flag Corps moves out, Mayor Ronnie Harris of Gretna is going to get his wish.
Ah.
There it is.
Well, Bob Krieger, the title float.
Love makes the world go round, says Allah himself.
The gigantic animated genie blinks his eyes. Of course, now we're going to be looking at his eyes to see if they really do blink.
Come on,
but it
Allah,
opens
blink
his
'em.
mouth as he announces the 61st theme of the 1993 Alla Parade, which is in commemoration of Valentine's Day, today, February 14th.
Take our word for it, those eyes do blink.
They do blink. Well, maybe it's
they have blunk or something.
past tense of blink. Now the riders are sitting high atop the float. It's a double-decker float.
Oh my goodness! And look at some of the throws on this thing.
Now that's one thing about these double-deckers, Bob, is that they're high enough that they can see us way in the back.
Yes.
All right. Now we snuck up on that one, on that title float. But as they come, you're going to notice that they're going to start inundating us with throws. Beads, cups, doubloons.
You folks at home should know that your seats in front of the TV set are about as good as our seats in front of the TV set. We're well back.
That is correct.
Actually, just the same.
I think Cox Cable took their cue from me because I was fighting for beads so much. They decided we better stick into the back.
This band from East St. John High School up in Reserve, Louisiana, under the direction of Ms. Connie Dickerson.
Those are some unusual band hats.
Yes.
Looks like English bobbies.
English bobbies, yeah. Which is not what you might expect in Reserve.
I don't believe I've ever heard this band being in Alla before. It's information we don't have, but we're glad that they're here with Alla. And the famous perennial float number 9. You want to say it, Bob?
We can say this on TV, folks, because it's Mardi Gras and because this is cable anyway. It's the Kunas float.
Alla uses this unique signature super float to salute the humor of the wonderful people of South Louisiana.
There's 2 huge animated raccoons dominate the float, which depicts various scenes from Louisiana swamps and bayous, including
shrimp boats,
helicopters,
dock scenes with real tires and ropes as props.
An enormous crawfish rides atop the rear of the float.
And I'm going to be looking for some of these 40,000 cups that this particular float is throwing today because it's unique only unto them.
40,000 cups from one single float.
Okay, it's time to get up.
Okay, let's go.
All right, here we go.
Come on, you
All right,
Kunas.
you guys can do it. Where's the arms?
Hey, Kunas.
Uh-oh, look out. Here they come. Here they come. Thank you. Some more. All right. Thank you.
Well, we did.
There we go, Bob. That's how you get in the spirit.
Look at this.
Good man.
Look at this, huh? My goodness, yes.
Well, I just want to say that the camera never lies, but we do have a lot of throws up here. And this is 1993. We have a raccoon fishing just like Frank Davis, I guess, catching. And there's the cattails on the cup.
A la Kunas. Right.
The Art Ryder Band out of New Orleans is directed by who else?
I bet you Art Ryder.
Art does a pretty good job of it. You call that a custom van, I guarantee you.
Yeah, these guys are good. You'll see them in a lot of parades.
And the review stand crowd is getting into the music.
I'm trying to see, there was a former cameraman I worked with at Channel 8. Used to play with that band.
Well,
I don't see him. I think he's
there's so many
out.
people on that van. 3, 6, 9. That's like a 10-passenger van.
Well, Charlie Cahill, if you're not with them anymore, hello anyway.
The Archbishop Blank High School cheerleaders and the Dovettes from Gretna, Louisiana, under the leadership of Mr. David Pooley and drum major Jennifer Boone.
Groups received NCA awards for officer leadership, showmanship, the most admired team, the shining star, and the home routine.
Recently, the Dovettes appeared in the 1993 Cotton Bowl Classic in Dallas, Texas.
My goodness.
And there's one thing, Bob, that I just found out the other day. Archbishop Blank High School was a recipient, their senior class was a recipient of over $650,000 in scholarships. It's a very good Institute of Higher Learning here in the West Bank, and the graduates do very well when it comes to scholarship dollars.
No better indication of how good the program is.
That's one of the measuring sticks for sure. And of course, the Dovettes, the group that you're seeing in front of you perform, have been a fixture in Mardi Gras parades for a number of years.
Archbishop Blank of what town?
Gretna.
Big Gretna, yes.
You know, Gretna, especially, Love Makes the World Go Round, falls into the theme. Gretna, Louisiana was named after Gretna Green, Scotland, because that was the famous place to elope. If you were from England, you'd cross into the border into Scotland and get married for that quickie wedding at the blacksmith shop where you sealed your vows over the anvil.
Is there any place in Gretna now?
Well, the Justice of the Peace is still doing that famous trade of marrying couples. But quite frankly, a BBC film crew was in Gretna this past July to film for a documentary talking about the history and romance. And actually, they have over 600,000 visitors a year that go to that blacksmith shop in Gretna Green, Scotland every year. So the BBC decided to make a documentary and explore the interesting aspect of romance of the human culture.
And include Gretna,
and
Louisiana.
They started off by coming into Gretna. In fact, the guy called me one day. He said, I was wondering, do y'all have anything to do with the tradition in Gretna Green, Scotland? I said, well, other than the fact that we have our town named after him, I guess you could say we do. Well, we perked his interest enough that a film crew came over and shot some scenes. In fact, a couple from Gretna went to Scotland to get married.
Is that right?
And the crew followed them as they packed and took off in the plane, and they filmed the marriage in Scotland. So it's a very unique history. There's a lot of cities around the country that love to have the tradition and heritage of Gretna, Louisiana.
Wonderful. And here's a guy we're all familiar with, Mr. Napoleon, and his Josephine, of course, as we explore the theme of love.
Makes the world go round. Well, Napoleon had a lot to do with the founding of Louisiana, since after his Waterloo, Napoleon was rumored to have wanted to come to Louisiana. He never got here, but Napoleon is very much
despite what they tell you about the Napoleon House.
Well, 1 year before he became dictator of France, Napoleon Bonaparte married Marie-Josephine Rosé Tacher de la Pouguer. Close?
Pajali.
Sorry. Oh, well.
Or simply Josephine, because it was so hard to pronounce all the other stuff.
I agree. Well, the bust of Napoleon, captured in an infamous pose, looms above the float, much as Napoleon the Emperor dominated France until his death in 1814.
A chronology of events during his reign represented by various painted scenes, including his crowning as emperor in 1804. Desiring an heir, by the way, Napoleon became disenchanted with his Josephine because she didn't provide him with one, so he divorced her in December 1809.
Well,
love sometimes fails to make the world go round.
and it better. Here we go. All right, thank you. One of the things that the riders are having experience at is the fact you have to have a good arm to reach us.
Yes.
But the crowd in front of us loves us here.
Yes, we've got a bunch of great interceptors here.
Francis T. Nichols, high school band out of New Orleans, is presently in front of you.
They're under the direction of Mr. Claude Christian. Francis T. Nichols Bobcats. Strutting their stuff along Terry Parkway. Actually, once this parade got going, it's moved quite well.
Yes, it has. There's very few breaks. It has moved quite well. Took us a little while to get going. The parade started at noon at, I believe it's Carlisle and General de Gaulle.
Yeah.
And moving along.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, yes. Of course, Berman Highway and Carol Sue and Terry Parkway until we get to this location.
Yeah, there are two of the greatest lies is that New Orleans has stayed during Carnival and that all parades begin on time, right? Well, now we're looking at float number 11, Madame Butterfly and Lieutenant Pinkerton. Decorated with scenes of Japanese magnolias, pagodas, rivers, and mountains, this float recalls a love of Josho Shan, Madame Butterfly, for Lieutenant Benjamin Franklin Pinkerton, as immortalized in the opera by Giacomo Puccini.
Lieutenant Pinkerton, assigned to duty in Japan, met Madame Butterfly, and they were betrothed. Promising to return, he left for the United States, but arrived in Japan 3 years later with an American wife. Sounds like a Josephine story to me.
Feeling that she had been disgraced, guess what happened?
Oh, my goodness. She stabs herself and dies in the arms of Lieutenant Pinkerton as he begs for forgiveness.
But I bet you didn't give it to him. Forgiveness, I mean.
Forgiveness, right.
Right.
You know, the viewers at home were saying they're still talking about that float. Well, which band is this?
This is the Capto Junior High School Band.
Under the direction of Mr. Joe Torigano, the Captown Junior High School Band is loud, as you can hear.
Yes.
Very excited. Well, you were mentioning how quickly the parade was passing, and quite frankly, it passes faster than we're capable of reading the script. So.
Yes, sometimes the scripts are long. And
Well,
we're trying to give you all this information, but the next one, the storyline isn't quite so long, so they will no doubt stop.
You're right. While we'll be groping for things to say. But, you know, the viewers at home, if they're really veterans of Mardi Gras parades,
Yes.
they don't quite understand what we're all talking about, because all they know is when they have a float, they want to know what position is their uncle or their cousin riding, so that they can go on the left side or the right side or the passenger side or the driver's side of the float
side or passenger
to get
side,
what they
right.
can get. But only in New Orleans is Mardi Gras reigns supreme.
Here comes one of the great love affairs of all time, Minnie and Mickey Mouse.
A long time ago, in December 1928, Walt Disney introduced Steamboat Willie, a sound cartoon which featured a mouse named Mickey who met Minnie, and together they made beautiful music of all things, a cow's udder.
For generations, moviegoers have laughed as they have shared in Mickey and Minnie's adventure, represented on this float by scenes in the Tunnel of Love, and also of Mickey's faithful dog, Pluto.
Where is Pluto?
Pluto must
Pluto's
be
behind the heart.
The heart there, yes. A bunch of Mickeys and Minnies.
Well, I tell you
The
what.
riders dressed in the ears.
Orlando may have Mickey, but I rather have Mardi Gras.
Yes.
He found out what a nose is good to hold other things as well. I'm not quite sure what that is.
Pluto is holding a huge pair of panties.
Oh, I'm going to get me a cup. All right. Got me a cup.
All right.
You know, this cup is Sweethearts of Mickey and Minnie, 1993.
Oh, that's nice. Yes.
Hello, kids. Yes. They like our stand very much. Belchase High School, the Cardinal Band. From Belchase, Louisiana, under the direction of Mr. George Stelz, the drum major, Sean Armas.
Band has performed, oddly enough, at Disney World in Florida and SeaWorld in Texas. They should follow the Mickey and Minnie float, right?
It's probably a very honored position. Bob, I'm looking at these cups. You know, I remember not too long ago that the crews would throw a cup, a style of cup, and that's it. So Alla's different. They've got a Maharaja cup, a Maharani cup, Kunas cup, a Mickey and Minnie cup, and
each float has its own, huh?
It seems that way. The Whales of Arden Cahill Academy.
Yes, these are the cheerleaders under the leadership of Mrs. Janice Dwyer.
Well, once again, you have a situation where there's so many educational institutions here on the West Bank. They all participate in the Krewe of Alla. But they're the only whales that I know of.
Yes. Oh, and they've got their own accompaniment.
Yes, the Chevy Suburban is accompanying them with a loud boombox. At least the band doesn't get tired of playing.
Boy, I'll tell you what, if you march 5 or 6 miles like this, you've got to be young enough to take it.
Yeah, they kind of make me tired just sitting up here talking about it.
Oh, here we go. We're going to do a little cheer. Whoa. All right, this ought to bring the crowd alive.
Cheerleading, dancing, and rapping.
Yes. This is the Arden Cahill Academy cheerleading team. One wonders, whatever happened to Go Team?
Go Team Go, huh? 2 bits, 4 bits, stand up.
Yeah, right. As they get ready to move along the parade route, they draw a nice hand from the crowd here near the reviewing stand.
Cahill's an elementary school located in Jefferson Parish on Wall Boulevard, Arden Cahill.
Here he is, oil field class.
Because of the continuing importance of the oil industry to the West Bank and the entire state of Louisiana, Alla has chosen this theme for one of the 3 permanent super floats.
An oil patch worker with wrench in hand, you can see it there out front, and 3-dimensional oil rigs dominate this float, and some 14,500 plastic cups thrown from this float. Guess what color they would be.
Well, black gold, I would imagine.
Yep. Louisiana crude oil color.
Now, these double-decker floats have a number of riders on there, as you can see. The themes of the super floats are perennial from year to year, and Alla is very proud to have the Kudas float, oil field class, and a few others that will be coming up.
Is it the alligator? Is he one?
Alligator float 24, cheating on my script.
There he is, folks, oil field class.
And as our companions line up in front of us in hopes of getting some cups, they were successful. Gretna Junior High School Band from Gretna, Louisiana.
No kidding.
My kind of place.
It's under the direction of Mr. B.J. Perez III, and the first junior high school band from Jefferson Parish to qualify for a state contest, the first school in 22 years from the West Bank to receive straight superior ratings at the LMEA Band Festival. Congratulations.
Quite a good job.
Gretna Junior High.
Gretna Junior High is located nowhere else but Gretna Boulevard, but its history dates back to when the old school, located at UEP Long Avenue, goes back many, many years. It was the continuation of a very, very long time tradition of Gretna High.
These are the Wranglers Riding Club.
Mr. Buddy Daig provides the leadership for this riding club.
This is not your precision riding group here.
No, they just ride.
Enjoy themselves.
They ride, they have a good time. They're one of the 12 units, riding clubs, riding organizations. I was always amazed that, stop and think about it. You're on a float, and you're throwing all these beads and all these cups, and you can understand, well, they got a float to ride on. But how do these horses? They got little bitty bags, and they're always throwing stuff out of it.
Right, where do they come from?
It never goes empty, right?
Where do they come from? That's
well,
right.
It's a Mardi Gras secret, and we won't tell.
You know, with the youth movement beginning to go for Western music, Garth Brooks and all those, these kinds of riding groups are gonna get a lot of favor this year, I would think.
Should expand their membership. Very large unit.
Yes, it is.
Number of horses involved. Of course, the West Bank still has a lot of areas rural in nature, and you can raise a horse.
And ride him, huh?
And ride it too, yes. Getting back to love making the world go round, the 1990 style of the love affair between Roger and Jessica Rabbit.
Yes, this float brings to life the love and adventures of Roger and Jessica as told in Disney's classic movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
As residents of Toontown, Roger and Jessica are confronted by the evil mad scientist whose aim is to destroy their city. And in the end, Roger Rabbit is triumphant as the evil scientist is destroyed.
We could have guessed that.
Who's the mayor of Toontown? That's how I was always wondering. I was waiting for that in the movie.
Before today, I thought it was Ronnie Harris. I didn't.
Gretna, not Toontown. We don't have too many evil scientists in Gretna trying to disturb us, so. Destroy us. We get disturbed all the time. It's getting late in the day, folks.
Disturb and destroy. Two different things, right? There they are, the riders aboard Float 14, Roger and Jessica Rabbit.
And they've got cups. They've got cups. And
of course they do. Have Roger and Jessica Rabbit cups.
Come get me a... Now, this is a different one. This is an Alla Navy cup coming from Roger and Jessica.
Alla Navy.
I think Roger and Jessica are cheating. But anyway. The West St. John High School Band from Edgard, Louisiana is under the direction of Mr. Gerald Anderson.
And a runner-up in the purple division. That's the division won by Shaw High School. They are the runner-ups in the Alla Jam contest, purple division. West St. John High School. From the little town of Edgard, just upriver on the West Bank from New Orleans. Go away.
Well, Bob, I've just noticed you really have a way with kids. They actually listen to you. He went away.
Sure, you give them beads, they'll go anywhere.
Sights and sounds of Mardi Gras.
The day, seriously, despite the grayness of the skies, has been gorgeous for a parade. It's just been very comfortable.
Good crowds lining Terry Parkway. It's an afternoon of enjoyment for family get-togethers. One of the polls taken recently was that Terrytown overwhelmingly wanting to keep the Mardi Gras route just as it is.
Yes.
It's a real, I guess you could say, tradition that people come over to in family gatherings to.
Wasn't there some thought of moving it because they thought they were disturbing these people?
Right. There was some talk about traffic control as well as safety, and quite frankly, after studying the matter, they found out this one actually is one of the safer routes, mainly because the emergency and police vehicles can access any part of the West Bank, even though the major thoroughfare at Terry Parkway is occupied. Many of the side streets are still available and open.
Yeah.
Jefferson Parish officials worked very hard in just trying to take a good look and seeing what would be best. And the Terrytown residents were very happy to keep it the same.
You know, it's something, of course, you've been involved in, but most of us really never thought about it, is the logistics of Mardi Gras. Trying to move these things through streets and over on the West Bank or the East Bank or anywhere.
Basically, you have the parade captain in charge of the parade itself, which is a logistic nightmare in itself, just getting all the units together, and then the parade marshal lines them up. But the months of planning prior to Mardi Gras, with the crowd control barricades, the security details, the telecommunications, the notification of emergency vehicles, both fire and ambulance, it is a major effort, and that's why they've tried to standardize the routes to keep confusion down to a minimum.
And still give crowds a chance to get close enough to, in their cars, to see the parade.
That's one of the overriding factors, is that you got to have a parade and you got to have it possible that people can go to it.
Right.
And of course, here comes another float, but Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler.
Who else? Scarlett and Rhett stand before scenes evoked by Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind, which, by the way, was the only book she ever wrote. Do you know that?
So how did they do a sequel?
She didn't write it.
Oh, she didn't write it, okay.
As from the carefree antebellum days at Tara to the burning of Atlanta beneath the Confederate flag, Scarlett, the manipulative Southern belle, marries and survives 2 husbands before she's finally won by Rhett Butler.
I thought it was Clark Gable. Throughout her adult life, Scarlett clings to the hopes that one day she may be untied with Ashley Wilkes. Unfortunately, in the end, Scarlett loses her fantasy of Ashley as she realizes, yet too late, that she really has loved Rhett Butler all along.
Which is when he says, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
And quite frankly, I don't think those riders really know or care about their theme. They're having a good time.
Yes, they are.
The Liverday Junior High School Band, located right here in Terrytown, Louisiana, is under the direction of Mr. John Trout.
Liverday Junior High. And some who've decided to take a ride instead of a march, huh? This would be the Plantation Riding Club of Violet, under the leadership of Ms. Anna Marie Hingle.
I would tend to think that could very well be her.
Be her,
Could
Ms.
be.
Hingle herself. Eh?
We want to thank the Krewe of Alla for providing us with the information relative to their parade. and
Indeed.
has aided us greatly in identifying the groups when we could.
That's an interesting group riding this horse.
Sure is.
Huge dresses.
Beautiful dresses and very smartly dressed.
Must leave, I know you will. I won't let you go until you show me some secret for making this time stand still. And somewhere, sometime from now.
And hello, Bob Krieger with Gretna Mayor Ronnie Harris back with you again. And approaching the reviewing stand, float number 18 here in the Krewe of Alla, Kermit and Miss Piggy, one of the great love affairs of all time. This float features Jim Henson's Muppet creations, Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog. Spotlights on the rear of the float, which you'll see as it passes by, of course, focus on Kermit as he sings the Rainbow Connection to Miss Piggy. There they are, all the Kermits and Miss Piggies. Now we have the Leon Gacho Junior High School Band from Reserve, Louisiana. This band under the direction of Dr. Adrienne Watkins and drum majors Travona Alexis, Tiffany Dewey, and Tisha Brown. Recently, this band won first place at the Strawberry Festival, Ponchatoula.
The Leon Gonchar Junior High School Band has been in many West Bank parades. They have really done an outstanding job this Mardi Gras season, because it seems like every parade I've seen they've been in it.
And they are, in fact, winners in the junior high division.
Well, there's a reason for that, because they're very good.
Indeed, they are. The parade marshal moves by, and we have a politician approaching.
One of the very first and one of the very best. Martha and George Washington. Notice how I said Martha first? They kid about Hillary. I mean, you know, there's a tradition here.
In 1759, George Washington married Martha Dandridge Custis. Throughout their married life, they remained very close, which was not always true about presidents and their wives. Washington once wrote to his wife in 1775 that, quote, "I shall enjoy more real happiness in 1 month with you at home than I have the most distant prospect of finding abroad if my stay were to be 7 times 7 years."
Ooh, boy,
Wow.
there'd be an opportunity here.
Martha bought that, huh?
Martha's feelings for George were evident by the fact that she spent 8 winters with her husband in the northern encampments from Cambridge to Newburgh. Scenes from Mount Vernon are painted on the sides of this float, along with the riders.
Boy.
And there goes the bag. Okay. We've got all kind of throws and
That George had a way with words, though, didn't he? Huh?
I tell you what, George was good.
Here comes the Belle Chase Middle School Band.
Miss Sheila Bouillon.
And they are runner-ups in the middle school division. Well, I'm telling you, this love makes the world go round thing is one of the great themes of Mardi Gras.
Well, it tends to work for the script writers. That's all I know.
It does that.
It's very.
But anytime Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy can precede Martha and George Washington.
Along with Napoleon and Cleopatra.
Right. You're looking at the Belle Chase Middle School Band now from, of course, Belle Chase, Louisiana.
And Alla has a distinctive West Bank flavor in picking the bands and marching units for their parade.
These royal characters approaching are Guinevere and King Arthur. The legend of King Arthur and Guinevere has been immortalized by the musical Camelot. Arthur, a 6th century English king, established a brilliant court there at Camelot.
According to some legends, his wife Guinevere had a love affair with Sir Lancelot, one of the knights of the Round Table. And of course, as usual, love kind of gets in the way of things and
Yes.
brings that about the end of Arthur's reign.
You know, Arthur didn't like the Round Table much anymore after that.
Didn't think it was such a great idea, huh?
No. Apparently wasn't a good idea to introduce his wife to all the bravest and most handsome knights anywhere.
Yeah. Chivalry had something else to do with it, huh?
Oh, and a big sign on the side of this one says, "Happy birthday, Dad." So whoever you are, Dad, happy birthday.
Whoa, some of the longest speeds I've ever seen.
Indeed. Well, I'll tell you, these guys, as are the marching bands, the float riders are still in it, as the High Society Brass Band comes through on their steamboat.
High Society has been in many parades on the West Bank. They have a great time as well.
They're a Gretna group.
Gretna group.
Hometown guys.
Hometown gang, that's right.
You're looking now at the McDonough 32 dance team and majorettes from New Orleans under the direction of Ms. Jenny Morris.
Of course, Bob, you know that McDonough 32 is one of the many schools named after John McDonough, one of Gretna's first premier resident. Actually, he was kind of like founder of McDonoughville, and that's one of the honors of being mayor of Gretna. I get to be mayor of McDonoughville, too.
Oh, is that right?
That's right. His plantation was rumored to be somewhere near the vicinity of where the Greater New Orleans Bridge is now. His plantation home actually lies in where the river is now, but in those days, he would cross the river in a pirogue in order to save the cost of a ferry landing. That's how he amassed his fortune.
Wow.
Of course, there's a statue of him in Lafayette Square, and many people always say how the children of New Orleans go to that statue and give him honor as requested in his will. That's why he gave the educational systems of Baltimore and New Orleans money for the continuation of education in those two communities. Well, in Gretna, McDonough 26 children go to the site of his grave.
Oh, is that?
His grave is in Gretna, but he's buried in Baltimore. You just kind of have to know these things.
Well, what can you say for a guy who used to cross the Mississippi in a pirogue to
Right.
save money? That's kind of interesting. Who's in the grave?
Actually, no one. It was his will that he would be buried in Baltimore, but because of his legacy, McDonoughville in McDonoughville Cemetery has its main benefactor resting there as far as, at least in spirit. Of course, they don't have a float called McDonough in this parade, but
Next
one of
year.
these next year. I'm gonna talk to Blaine about that.
This is Float 21, Isabella and Ferdinand. The 1469 marriages of Isabella and Ferdinand united their kingdoms of Castile-Leon and Aragon.
Together, they were able to drive the Moors from the Iberian Peninsula and bring about a unified Spain. In 1492, the same year they drove the Moors from Spain, they outfitted the voyage of Christopher Columbus to the New World.
Yes. Isabella stands atop this float as she gazes down with approval on Columbus's ship, the Santa Maria. There it is, a three-master.
Three-master with beads and ice chest adorning the ship.
Columbus's crew never carried such stuff. Hmm?
Well, they never thought they would be in a Mardi Gras parade either. But here is a nice, great band. That's the U.S. Navy Band, New Orleans.
Under the direction of Lieutenant R.R. Ocial. And you will see them in a lot of parades, too.
A lot of parades. We had a Veterans Day activity in the city of Gretna, and U.S. Navy Band New Orleans played. And talk about a great group. They really wowed the crowd with just the patriotic songs and other selections. First class.
This is a patriotic song. In
Well,
New Orleans, it is.
They know how to play that, too. And of course, their transportation is old Ironsides.
Oh, yeah, they grew.
From Marrero, Louisiana Rough Riders, under the direction of Larry Leday.
The Rough Riders, huh? Doesn't look like it's been such a rough ride.
No, but I tell you what, those little bitty bags, they still dig it from them.
Still throwing stuff. Right?
That's the most amazing thing about Mardi Gras. How they fit all those beads in those little bitty bags. I'm not sure.
Boy, and Ronnie, something else we got to mention about Mardi Gras is you saw the streets earlier, and you see them now beginning to fill with stuff. The cleanup crews do just such a wonderful job after these parades.
A lot of people think that it's a way to shoo everyone home, but when the street sweepers come and the blowers, they found it to be a lot more economical and a lot more effective to try to pick up that stuff as quickly as possible before the wind catches it, or
Right.
worse yet, the rain comes. And yes, they do a good job at maintaining the cleanliness of the streets after a mess of a Mardi Gras parade.
We've talked a long time about the wonders of Mardi Gras, but it's the wonders of crowd control and street cleanup and all those things that just are amazing.
Well, you know, the thing is, this gives a lot of practice to the police and security folks. And I noticed the Dallas Cowboys had their victory parade and
Yes.
unfortunately had some violence
Crowd
there.
control problems.
And I tell you what, I think New Orleans and Jefferson Parish could certainly give seminars in crowd control.
Maybe one day we'll win a Super Bowl and find out.
There you go.
This is Romeo and Juliet, folks, based on the tragedy by William Shakespeare, of course. Romeo and Juliet were two star-crossed lovers whose families were involved in a senseless feud.
The famous balcony scene painted on the side of the float brings to mind the well-known line, "Romeo, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo?" And we're being bombarded by both beads, cups, and people.
Golly, you might hear this. We have a top
Whoa!
where we are.
And we don't have anything protecting us other than the crowds.
Not enough.
Well, it's hard to read scripts when you're dodging bead bags, I should say. Well, anyway, Romeo and Juliet, as we all know, ended up another case of a lover's quarrel.
Yes.
No, not so much that as suicide. Really a sad
Right,
story.
yeah. And we're talking senseless feuds. In politics, you know about those, don't you?
The Wild West Wranglers is under the direction of Mr. Lucian A. Jefferson Sr. You're seeing that horse group as we mop up the table here of Coke.
Literally. This was an olive ball.
Olive ball, yes.
Inside there, the olive ball is gone. It was what knocked the Coke down.
It was a
at half
loaded
our table.
projectile. Samson and Delilah. Float number 23. The Old Testament recounts the story of Samson, a servant of God who was wise and very strong. Samson utilized his strength to fight the Philistines, the enemy of the Israelites. He was betrayed by his lover Delilah, who tricked him into revealing that the source of his strength was his uncut hair.
Never believed that, but as he slept, Delilah cut his hair. and informed the Philistines, who then captured and imprisoned Samson. Not very smart, figuring that his hair might grow back. It did. And he regained his strength.
Painted on the side of the float is a scene of Samson pulling the Philistines' banquet hall down upon their heads.
Now, knowing what you know, if you're a Philistine, wouldn't you have made sure this guy's hair stayed cut?
Well, they did consult with Louis the 16th and Marie Antoinette's benefactors. Cut off his head and see if that hair will grow, huh?
And they had no consultants.
Yes, our favorite subject of the day.
But here he is wearing the lion's head, huh? Oh, Samson.
And of course, moving very slowly so that they can have the best aim possible for the review and stand.
We'd best get set for this.
Yeah, I think we should have learned that a long time ago. Like, put all liquids down on the floor.
Take the Coke off the table, right? There you go. And be prepared, because apparently there is some arm strength left.
Of course,
guys.
That's one great thing about Mardi Gras. The maskers, they can throw and not know. You never know who they are throwing at you. Of course, you can recognize some faces up there.
Look, there's a wonderful little sign up here that says, "I am not Gene."
No, but I know who Gene is. He's just in another spot. But I'll never tell.
Oh, gee. Here we go.
There we go.
That's the one.
Well, and this will be interesting since those beads just knocked out our monitor.
Thank you. The
so
monitor
we will be enjoying the parade like the street goers.
Our director should know that the monitor is a gone pecan.
We have, with the next group, the U.S. Coast Guard float out of New Orleans. It's under the leadership of Lieutenant Commander Donald Lincoln. The Coast Guard is very ably represented here with a Dolphin helicopter riding on the rear of the Coast Guard float.
And we hope you're looking at the same things that we're looking at, but it'll be hard for us to tell because we can't see the monitor. However,
well, all I know coming up, because I'm hearing the announcers talk about something fierce and ferocious.
We can see him in the distance. The great alligator, a 65-foot-long float, annual favorite for Mardi Gras parade goers. The enormous animated head was constructed in Spain and assembled at the Alla Den in Algiers.
The illusion of a swamp scene is created by water lilies, cat-o'-nine-tails, frogs, and the alligator. And the alligator opens its huge mouth, and the crowd takes aim with beads and doubloons.
And if you don't believe that, take a look at the mouth as it opens. It is filled with beads and doubloons.
We hope you're enjoying the telecast today of the Krewe of Alla. The parade is winding down with this alligator float.
Alligator is the final float in the parade. And it is huge, folks, and look at that mouth move. Wow. Look at the beads in there, Ronnie. Watch when he opens his mouth. Open your mouth, Gator. There he is.
Well, if they ever run out, they just got to crawl in the mouth to get some more to throw.
Alligator.
Well, the rain has held out.
Yes.
The crowds
It's been a good day.
are having a great time. And the Krewe of Alla is starting to conclude with the alligator moving on down to Oakwood Shopping Center, Bob.
And Alla has been a long, but I would say very successful parade for 1993.
It's been a great parade, a great day. The rain held out, and it certainly was enjoyable to work with you, Bob Krieger.
And fun working with you, Mayor Ronnie Harris.
Thank you. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
And join us again for Mardi Gras 1993.
For tuxedo rentals and sales, do what New Orleanians have done for over 27 years. Go to Smart Set Formal Wear. Smart Set Formal Wear is locally owned and operated and carries many different styles of men's tuxedos and formal wear. With sizes in most styles ranging from size 4 to size 60, Smart Set Formal Wear is sure to suit your needs. So visit Smart Set Formal Wear at our 2 locations, 536 Oaklawn in Metairie and 3901 Williams in Kenner.
Refreshments for the crew provided by Mr. Roma, DiMaggio's Marketplace and Deli, and the Louisiana Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Cellular communication provided by Radiophone.